So welcome everyone to our Women in Business Leadership Series, sponsored by the College of Business's Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship and the Women's Center. We're working together to create a series of 5 events to help connect you to one another and to celebrate female entrepreneurs and business people. So our first speaker, our first speaker today is Bella Lamb from Coconut Whisk. I've known Bella for a couple of years, and I'm going to give you a fairly short introduction. But I met her when she and her partner, Myles, were working on this vegan baking mix business in 2018. They contacted me about the Big Ideas Challenge, which they went on to win. They won $3,000 in the Ag, Food, and Beverage Division. And throughout the whole process, there were 2 things that really impressed me about Bella and Myles. One was how authentic and earnest they were about the things that they were trying to accomplish with their business, both for the protection of animals, but also for people's health and nutrition. And the other thing that really impressed me about them was their professionalism. Both of them were very dedicated to getting this up and going. They were willing to do their homework and the hard work necessary to get a business off the ground. And it was a very inspiring thing to be able to work with them for a little bit. But since then, they've gone on to great things, and I'm going to let Bella tell you her story in her own words. So I'd like to introduce Bella Lamb from Coconut Whisk.
Is a little timeline. Like Yvonne said, I launched Coconut Whisk in the spring of 2018 with no business experience, no money or network. I actually wasn't a student in the College of Business. I was a student in public health, and then Myles was studying psychology. So business was definitely like an accidental thing for sure. But I'm really glad to be where I am today. So again, I launched it in the last semester. And then within 2 years, we've been able to grow into 40 stores, and we're on to our second distributor. So we're going to be nationwide very soon. And we grew our website by 390% this year, which is really awesome. And so I'm excited to be sharing with you my experience and just why personal branding really matters to me, and the story of Coconut Whisk and how you can start one too. Okay, so this is a little random, but I just want you to remember this slide here, okay? We'll get back to this later. All right, so you can either put this in the chat box or you can just think this to yourself. But my question for you is like, what do you think a personal brand is? You know, you might have an idea of what it is, or you might have never heard of it before, but just think to yourself, or, you know, share it in the comment section. And believe it or not, you already actually have a personal brand. So, you know, this could be a shock to you, but if we really look at it, it's pretty simple. A personal brand is essentially how you present yourself and your unique combination of skills and experiences that make you who you are, online and off. So especially in this COVID era, I think we have so many people who rely on the internet for connection and community. So whatever you put out there, you're building your personal brand. So it can make or break you. So let's be intentional with it. And that's what I want to share with you today. And so just going a little bit deeper on why it matters and why it's important. So number one is that you can stand out to employers. So for me and for our company, when we look for partnerships or interns or employees, we always look at their Instagram, their Facebook, their LinkedIn right away, because it's the easiest way for me to find out like what are their values and do they align with our company. And a fun fact is that the average person actually switches jobs every 2 to 3 years. So you want to be able to capture and communicate who you are and what you do concisely, and all under a personal brand umbrella. Number 2 is that it's actually really fun and creative. For me, I'm very creative minded. And so I think when it comes to, that aspect of it, it's really fun that you can be your own storyteller, your own author, and, you get to be you get to own your narrative and be the main character, right? And then number 3 is that you meet like-minded people and build trust. For me, I've been able to meet the most amazing friends, peers, mentors, colleagues, all through social network. And it's because it's really easy to connect in real life when you see like, oh, you have things in common with each other. And it's just a very cool, web of people. And then number 4 is that it really helps you open up new doors. When it comes to building your skills, and when it came for us for launching Coconut Whisk, I really used the social media platform that I had to market our product, our business, and it was just an easy way to open new relationships. So that's a little bit why it's important. All right, so now before I start sharing about personal branding 101, I want to share with you about Coconut Whisk and how personal branding really fit into that story. So if you haven't heard of Coconut Whisk before, we're a mission-driven, vegan, and gluten-free baking mix company based in Minneapolis. We started in Mankato, moved to the Twin Cities, and we offer pancakes, muffins, cookies, and we now donate to organizations that support food insecurity. And so that's a really big passion of mine, and the driving force behind Coconut Whisk. Let's see. So like I said, when I entered college, when I started Coconut Whisk, I was in my senior year of college, and no business background, but then the background story was that okay, let me rewind. So when I entered college, I didn't study business, but and the main reason, to be honest, was because I didn't want to take math classes. That was really the biggest thing. But I decided to study public health instead, and I loved it. I loved the professors, the peers, and that's where I discovered plant-based eating and veganism. And so for you who don't know, vegan means you don't consume or use meat or animal products like milk or eggs to your best abilities. So that's where that's where I first got introduced to that lifestyle. And then fast forward a few months later, after eating plant-based and really loving it, my health improved a lot. So that's when I naturally just started sharing my meals, my recipes, my journey online. And, I did it via like blog and Instagram, Facebook. I just shared it with like my friends and family. And of course I shared about my college experience, and, people just really felt like they were like on this journey with me, which was really cool. And then I didn't even know it at the time, but I was building like this little personal brand, this community for myself. And for me, I loved it because it was like a form of expression. It was my way to channel my energy into something productive, fun, and positive. College can be so distracting. You have so many things going on, but, this thing was like mine, and it was just a very great way to share myself and the journey I was on. So, and it really helped me to develop my skills too. And then this eventually led into Coconut Whisk. So Coconut Whisk came into the picture spring of 2018, and it was after I realized that there weren't a lot of better for you vegan and gluten-free baking mixes. And as someone who just loves, semi-homemade baking, this was a huge problem for me. And, if you ask a lot of founders and entrepreneurs, I think it's all about like having this problem that inspired them to solve it, right? And so when I had this light bulb moment of, hey, maybe I should start this vegan and gluten-free baking mix company, I couldn't shake it off. And so I told Myles, my life partner and my business partner, and at first he thought I was literally insane because, again, we didn't have money, no experience, no network. So like, how are we going to do this? But somehow I convinced him to join me. And honestly, like a week after I had the idea, I saw the poster for the Big Ideas Challenge, and I was like, I think I should sign up. And that's where I met Yvonne. So, it's all like a full circle, right? So yeah, moving forward, let's see. Now we're going to talk about the personal brand. And again, like I mentioned, like this was really the main reason how I was able to launch Coconut Whisk in the beginning, because we didn't have marketing money. And so I just used my social media to promote it, to share with people like what's happening. So yeah, I'm going to share with you today how I started and just a few tips on how to build your own personal brand. And even if you have no desire to be an entrepreneur, like I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. And even if you have no desire for that, I think it's still a great business practice. Like I said, you like in this digital era, you got to build your reputation somehow, and this is how you do it. So I feel like I'm talking really fast. So hopefully this isn't, we're still good. People are still hanging on.
You're doing great. You can go slower if you want to though.
Okay, sure. Thank you. I think I just talk fast like normally. So this is, and I don't drink coffee, which is crazy. Okay, so number one is to get to know yourself. So this is really crucial. because you might be thinking, okay, so if I want to start this personal brand, like how do I even do it? Like what do I even share about? And I think my answer is just think about like what lights you up, right? So like what's something that excites you? What do people say that you're good at? Just start with your passion, I think, is a really good place to start. For me, it was, I just love like plant-based baking or recipes and health and wellness. And so I just shared that, and it just grew from there. And from there, you can meet a lot of potential business partners, friends, employers, just by sharing what you love. Okay, so number 2 is pick a platform. So it's you can do, there's YouTube, there's podcasting, there's Instagram, there's blogging, there's vlogging, TikTok, I don't know. There's so many platforms out there, and you can share anything that's valuable, inspirational, uplifting, or encouraging, anything that gets you creating, right? And so there's a lot of free resources online on how to optimize each platform. And so once you're good with one, I say like, and then once you have traction in one, you just move on to the next. So okay, number 3 is network in your space. So building relationships with peers, mentors, and leaders in your field is really easy, and it's really helpful for your professional and personal growth. So don't be afraid to reach out with specific questions. Like if you have someone you look up to, my tip is to just not ask out of the blue, but maybe ask how you can engage with, engage with them first, engage with what they're doing, share their content, interact with them before you just flat out ask for something. I think that's the golden rule for everything: give before you ask. So I think this applies to like just networking in your space in general. And then number 4 is be consistent. So this is, okay, so it's better to show up, as much as you can, but to keep your sanity straight, to keep your brain, functioning properly, I think it's really important to just have maybe some type of structure. So, it's better to share once a month consistently than just randomly throughout the year with no intention. So maybe you can think about posting Monday through Friday. You can go online for 30 minutes and repost, share, engage, make it a good habit. And so that's where, and the biggest thing is like, when you do that, then you make it a good habit, and then you can become a creator instead of a consumer. I think this is the biggest mindset hack like ever, when we start looking at ourselves as people who are being proactive and who are sharing good things instead of just consuming all this negative stuff, right? So that's what I always do. I try to consume, I try to create, more than I consume. And so that's a heads up there. And then number 5 is own it. So even if you don't feel like an expert or credible yet, I sure didn't when I started. I just shared what I learned. I documented my journey, and this really helped me build my confidence. I always say like confidence comes in the doing, and action over everything. So don't wait around for someone to give you permission to start or share your passions. Again, when I started Coconut Whisk, I didn't go to culinary school. I didn't have a business degree. I think I was just on Google a lot, and I just got help from mentors and friends, and it's just all about starting small and building from there. Let's see. Okay, this is probably the most important slide, is to, personal branding isn't about the image that you put out online and how, this front, right? It's not about that. It's really how you serve and treat other people in person and all the time. So people remember you by how you made them feel. They don't remember what you said. They don't remember how you said it. They really just remember like, oh, she was really kind to me, right? And so I can't express that enough. And I bet, you probably know this, but just a sweet reminder, right? Okay, so if you guys remember, this was the picture from earlier, and this was actually our first generation packaging that we launched our company with, so very cringy, but it got us somewhere, so we're good. Now this is where we are right now. So this is our current packaging, and the moral of the story, the point of this is that personal branding is a lot like this. It might be messy, it might be awkward, you might be uncomfortable, and you might cringe when you look back, but you got to start somewhere. And so the easiest way is just just create content, share your passion, share it on social media, be kind to other people, and just put your voice out there, whatever that might look like for you. And so my final piece of advice is you really become who you surround yourself with. So you also become who you consume from. So social media plays a huge part in personal branding, but it can also be a lot of, place for darkness, a lot of, heavy stuff. So you want to protect yourself and be intentional with who and what you allow in your headspace. So don't be afraid to unfollow people. Don't be afraid to, cut the ties. But on a happy note, like, you got so much to share. The world needs your gifts. Like, we need leaders with hearts and talents like yours. And even if you don't feel like one right now, you are a leader, and don't forget that. So with that being said, thank you so much for allowing me to speak to you today. You can find me at coconutwhisk.com, at Coconut Whisk on Instagram. And then my personal is Bella at coconutwhisk.com. And then my personal is at _ Bella Lamb. And I'll also share this slide with Yvonne so that she can share with you all, because I added some of my favorite resources and recommendations of people I love to follow and people who have built incredible personal brands, from Marie Forleo to Arlen to, of course, Oprah. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yay, everybody want to give a quick little round of applause? You can use the reactions in Zoom to give her a round of applause, or you can unmute and clap if you'd like.
Thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh my goodness.
So now we have an opportunity for questions and answers. This is you can just have a conversation. This isn't a big formal thing. So does anyone have a question that they would like to ask Bella? You can just go ahead and you raise your hand or unmute and start.
How did you figure out like the manufacturing side of it? Because if you create your apartment.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great question. Okay. So when we started, it was all from our apartment. We are indeed there. We produced there for a little bit because we had a cottage food license. But then you hit a certain revenue point, and then you have to be in a commercial kitchen. And we rented out a local kitchen in Mankato for $300 a month. And my Myles, that's a whole nother subject. I think it's really important to have a partner who complements your skills, right? So for me, I did marketing and sales and the community and the strategic work. And then my partner, he did the operations. He did the, what else did he do? He did the finance. And so we really figured out our strength, and then, took charge in our positions. And so finding a partner that, complements you, and then just, it seems so intimidating, manufacturing, right? But if you just start small, you'll just slowly learn and build up from there. Because we started in our apartment, then we went to a commercial kitchen, moved to the Twin Cities, and then went to another kitchen. And then now we're in our next kitchen, and then the next one will be a co-manufacturer, which is they make the products for us and stuff. So it's just, all about one step at a time. Yeah, thanks for that question.
There's a question in chat. If you'd like to, you can unmute yourself and go ahead and ask it. Katerina? Bella, you can see the question in chat too if you want to.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Did you have to raise capital at some point to really start off? Yeah. Okay. So this is a fun question, because when we started, to this point we've been bootstrapped. So that means we haven't had outside investments, or we haven't done a fundraising round. And in the beginning, it was honestly it was the $3,000 from the business competition. We turned that $3,000 into $30,000 within 6 months, which is, I don't know how that happened, but it did. And so we were really lean, and we were really scrappy, and every dollar it counts. And even to now, 2 years later, all we've done is reinvested everything that we've had from our customers, right? And so cash flow is, it's kind of tight, but I think my biggest advice is just to bootstrap as long as possible. You don't want to give up, equity or anything like that early on, because you never know, your value can go up as a company. And you want to be sure that you're ready for it. And so that's a great question.
I've got one I'll throw in there while other people are composing their ideas.
Yeah.
When you first started with Big Ideas, I know there was, you got some good press from that. And looking at your website, I see you've gotten a number of different great press opportunities, television, newspapers, magazines. Could you talk a little bit about what you've done to help yourself get that public relations and like how you've reacted when you've gotten it and how that's leveraged and helped your business?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Thanks, Yvonne. Yeah. So I think it really goes back to the personal branding part. They love seeing, people just love seeing companies that have a face to them. Even if you're not comfortable in front of the camera, even if you don't want to be a face of your brand, I think it's so important just to like give it a try, because there's like this human connection to it, and PR and like anything like that is all about relationships, right? And so all our media has been earned. So like we don't we had a publicist for like 2 months and it just didn't work out. And so everything has been just like people referring us or them reaching out, and just me applying for like different programs. And that's what I would say. Like apply for as many scholarships, programs, incubators, clubs as possible, because we actually recently partnered with Aerie, and that was just through like a referral. I was named their change maker, and so that was just through a referral from a friend. And then I applied, and then the next thing after another, it just led to this really great partnership. So you never know like what one relationship can do to you and how that can change your life. So really nurture them and make sure you're like, seeking those good people. So.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
Other questions?
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Bella. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
What's one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who's considering the Big Ideas Challenge?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would say just do it. Sign up, right? One piece of advice. Yeah, I don't honestly, like, for me, when like looking back, it was so intimidating. Like I had no business being in this competition, right? Like who am I to be doing this? But once you just like that initial just like go at it, you'll build that confidence. You'll be like, okay, I can do this. There's people who are so incredibly nice, so supportive. Like you don't have to know the answers, you just got to say yes. Literally, that's like my motto, just say yes to everything. Good stuff. No peer pressure, but just say yes to like anything and everything that kind of makes you uncomfortable. And like you never know what it's going to do. Like what's the worst that can happen, right? So I always say just go for opportunities that come up. That's what I would say.
You are courageous. Just say yes to everything. That's great advice for anybody.
Yeah. And if you'll know when it's like a hard no, but like if it just feels like, oh, like this is something interesting, like I'm curious about this, then just say yeah. Why not?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
I have a question. Oh, go ahead, Miriam.
No, go ahead. Okay. So my question was the following: how many hours have you been working during your senior year? Because I'm kind of stressed a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and so how many hours have you been working on your project and everything?
Oh my gosh, that's such a great question. Thank you for asking that. So, okay, last semester of college was like the most insane quarter of my life. So I was doing a full-time health internship. So I was working like 9 to 5. Thank God they paid me. So I had, some money to survive. So we were doing that. And then I was doing classes as well. So, and then doing this whole business competition deal. And when you do something like this, when you kind of like, I guess like jump into a new idea or like even start some type of new side project, there has to be something that gives. You have to sacrifice something. And for me, it was just sacrificing my weekends and my nights, right? I'm not watching Netflix. I'm not, which is great. I love just watching Netflix and zoning out. But like at the time I knew like I had to hustle for at least 3 to 4 months and then I could relax, right? And so it's about just like understanding that you have to like be uncomfortable. You have to like sacrifice some things for this long-term return. So like for us, it's so easy to want that instant gratification. And when you don't, when it's not there right away, it's hard, but like, you just gotta like keep going and like believe in yourself and just like know that it's not forever, right? Everything will, nothing is permanent. So just know that it's stressful now, but you're gonna be fine eventually. So just understanding that, I think, is really important. So I know it's stressful. College is stressful. So kudos to you all.
And being an entrepreneur too is not something easy, but you have just to be courageous as you was.
Yes, exactly. And it's so much fun. Like, you meet so many cool people, and it's really worth it. Just for a little sacrifice of giving out your weekends and your nights, like it's really worth it. So
I like your mindset.
thank you. I try. Lots of reading. You had something, Liz, right?
I did. Well, thank you so much I'm already like puzzling around the idea of building this personal brand. You gave such good points for it. So I guess my question is, how do you stay focused? Like, there's so many things, right? There's so many things we can do. How did you choose like, okay, this is the thing, and we want to be innovative without like overreaching ourselves at the beginning?
Oh, right. Oh, that's such a great question. Yvonne, this is a great group of ladies, honestly. I love this. Yeah, so understanding how to not overwhelm yourself, right? Or just figuring out how to not overwhelm yourself with everything going on. Right? That's a question in like time management.
More so like not getting distracted, or like, because I guess I feel kind of like a squirrel, or like a dog, and then the squirrel goes by. So it's like, here's this great idea. How do you stay kind of laser focused on launching that idea without wanting to get swept into like 6 other things?
Yeah, okay, that's really great. Okay, so I'll give you like some very like tangible things we did in the beginning. So for me, when I had the idea for Coconut Whisk, it was like, all right, I gotta write it down right away. Or I remember actually getting like a big white poster board and just like writing out the months leading up to the competition, or leading up to like a goal that I had, and I just broke it down and I gave myself like timelines. So just like having a visual representation of like your project, right? Or just what you need to get done, I think really motivates you. I know, like, just having a whiteboard, just buy like yourself a big whiteboard or something and put your ideas down, organize it in a way that makes sense to you. Everyone is different. And one thing I actually really love to do is like the 50-minute rule. So to not get distracted, what I do is for 50 minutes, I would shut off my phone, make sure like notifications are off, and I would just work on this one specific task that I need to get done, right? And then after that 50 minutes, I would give myself a 10-minute break, and then I would then return, do that 50 minutes again on another task. And so I do this like 4 to 5 times a day, and you just get so much quality work done. And so that's what I would say. And what else? Just making sure, just writing it down, having a planner is so good. And yeah, that's really it. Doing that 50-minute rule, making sure you're not distracted, and really like training yourself, because it's so easy to get distracted nowadays. It's so easy, but your time and your attention is like worth so much. So you really want to protect that and understand how to incubate it in a good environment. So make sure you give yourself rules.
Great, thank you. Hey, could you talk a little bit about, I mean, a lot of the people here are not college business students. They might be students in lots of different majors. They may not be students at all. Could you talk a little bit about like the doing good piece, like how entrepreneurship has been a vehicle for you to do good, and what potential you see for that, for people to do good with business skills and with entrepreneurship?
Yeah. So when I started Coconut Whisk, a college student, I wanted to give back, and I wanted to, to give back money wise and time wise. But it's just like you're just so crunched that when I launched Coconut Whisk, I knew like I wanted to attach like a social mission to it, because it's like, okay, now I'm held accountable, and I have to contribute, right? Which is so great. And then just finding something that really resonates with you, and then just allowing it to evolve if needed. So like when we started Coconut Whisk, it was donating to animal shelters, and then now we kind of moved it to and food banks, and then now we kind of moved it to just supporting organizations that support food insecurity. After some soul searching, I realized like that really speaks to me. And after I made that decision, I feel like now I'm even more passionate and fired up about what we're doing. And so it's like alignment. And so if you want to give back, just start somewhere and just understand that it might evolve, and that's okay. And just making sure that it's really authentic to you and like what you stand for. And then that will drive you through like the worst of days, I promise. So, and I think all companies are really, understanding that and how important it is, because consumers really want brands that do give back and contribute. So
I think that the other aspect of your business is that it's vegan.
Yep.
And the health benefits of that, that you've talked about on your website and stuff too, is interesting. It's another piece of it. You're kind of giving in two ways.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, so it's like we kind of want it to be all encompassing, and I think it's good. It feels really good to have a company that really represents what I love and enjoy. So
I want to wait and see if we have any other questions from the group. Otherwise, I have something I'm dying to ask you about.
Ooh, okay.
Spot.
I'd love to hear it.
Anybody else have a question? You go right ahead, though.
Oh, I have a quick question. What do you do with negative comments, or how do you respond to the customers who aren't happy with your product, or maybe they thought they were getting something and they got something different, or
Oh yeah. Oh, that's such a good question, because right now we're actually going through something like that. We've been scaling a lot this past month, and so we got into our first fulfillment center. So all our e-commerce orders goes to another facility and they fulfill it. And so it's just been kind of like a customer service mess, because some customers got only like one baking mix and they ordered like 3. And so it's really it's hard, because like outsourcing things is hard in and of itself, because like you're trusting someone else with your products. But I think, just not focusing on that, understand, taking the feedback, but then also understanding that we're doing the best we can, and just communicating that we understand, their frustration, but then not just like dwelling on it, right? And just learning, taking it as a learning lesson instead of like, oh, we're a really bad company. It's always about learning. It's always about just finding out how you can be better. You can't satisfy everybody. And when it comes to like negative comments, like even from your family or like, friends, things like that, I say like, I guess like hurt people, right? And so when you hear that, it's just about, for me, like, I just think like, it's about showing compassion, and like maybe they're going through something, or there's a limiting belief that they have that prevents them from doing something that they love, and so they're projecting this onto you, like, oh, don't do this business, or why are you vegan, blah blah. It's like, okay, they have their own experiences, they have their own limiting thing, so there's nothing I can do. I just have to kind of take it and then just move on. So and we kind of have that philosophy, just being compassionate, being empathetic, and doing the best we can to continue to innovate, to continue to be better, is what I would say. Yeah. Oh, we have another one. Erin, yeah, go ahead.
Was there ever a time where you felt like discouraged from like doing your business, or in like a time, where you felt discouraged, and how did you like overcome that?
Oh yeah, thank you for asking that. So there's this one specific time. So last year I applied for this fellowship. It was a fellowship in the Twin Cities, and I practiced for this pitch for like the whole week. I nailed it, and I just felt so confident. felt so good in myself. And then the day of the pitch, I actually did the pitch, and it went so well. And then there was a Q&A section. So we did like an interview with like I did an interview with like 3 other professionals who were judges. And gosh, I just felt so off during that interview. The questions were just like really, I don't know, it just like, I didn't expect them. And essentially one of the judges came up to me afterwards, and she was kind of like anti-plant-based, anti-vegan. And so it was just like it was really uncomfortable. She like grew up in a cow farm, and, you know, I wasn't dissing cow farms or anything. And so, you know, it was just like really uncomfortable. And I actually ended up not getting the fellowship, and that was like $50,000 that, you know, that would have really helped us. And so that was like one of the worst things ever, because I really had this vision, like, we're going to get into this cohort. This whole year is going to be so fun, and like, I'm going to learn so much, and this money is going to really help our business. And when I didn't get that, it was just like, you know, like my heart sank, and I was like so sad for like the next week. But then, you know, my philosophy in life is that, you know, everything, there's really purpose in all. And so, and everything is progress, right? And so, after that, you know, I just kept doing the business, and I just kept focusing on what was working well, what was good. And I'm still working with that organization, and we've done really cool things together. And I've met some really cool people, new opportunities came up. And so, and the mentors that came from that, that little audition was really invaluable. So it's never about like a fail. It's just like, okay, what can I learn from this? And, you know, we're still here. So, you know, nothing is like at the end of the world, I say. So, yeah.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question that I've been dying to ask.
Okay.
I understand that you have been auditioning for Shark Tank, and
Yes.
I understand that there's progress that has been made along there, and I wanted to find out if you have any news, because I want to see you on TV, girl. I think it'd be great.
Oh gosh, yeah. Shark Tank is quite, it was quite an adventure. So we auditioned last spring, and we had like 2 days to prepare, because a colleague told me about it, and she was like, hey, Shark Tank's in town, like you guys should apply, or, you know, whatever, audition. I was like, all right, I guess I don't have a pitch, but sure. So we went the day of, and I remember I pitched with Myles, and it actually went really well. The producers were incredible. So we got a call back, and we did more paperwork, and then that was pre-COVID. And so, you know, during COVID, they were like radio silent for a little bit. And I just heard the news that we didn't get to the next round, which is a bummer, but, you know, we got really good feedback, and I think we're just a little too early. Even for me personally, like, I don't think I'm ready to like fundraise like that. I wanted to make sure our business is like, you know, really on point. So we're gonna try again next year and just see how it goes. I feel more confident if we did do it again that we can make it further. But you know, like I said, like nothing is a true failure. So
I was learning, right?
Yeah, right.
Rhonda has a question for you. Go ahead, Rhonda.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Bella. I really enjoyed your presentation. Because I know personal brand is really important. Did you ever feel pressure in remaining a vegan as your personal brand, like if your diet changed or anything?
Oh yeah, that's so good. Yep. So yeah, so in the beginning, I was like diehard vegan, diehard plant-based, and then, you know, I got out of college, and I went into the business world, and then my interests kind of grew into more like entrepreneurship, personal development, self-help. And so I just changed I changed my personal brand to more like that, because that's what I was passionate about at the time and right now. And so what I say is, like, you know, be okay with like changing, right? Be okay with evolving, because I mean, if you're doing something and it doesn't resonate with you anymore, like there's no point in just continuing that. And people understand, like people love seeing people grow, people love seeing people change and evolve. And I think that's, you know, it says it's the same thing with building your personal brand. So yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
Awesome. Well, I want to say a big thank you to Bella for coming and joining us today, and a thank you to all of you for your good questions. We're going to switch gears. Bella put her website address in the chat. If you look, you'll see a Yvonne's iPad in our list, and I've got a container of cookie mix that's going to get made tonight that that I ordered from her. So there's a little product placement as part of this. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a little connection activity. So I'm going to share my screen again. Oops, there we are. As soon as I can technically figure out what I'm doing. And turn things over to Liz from the Women's Center so that she can lead a really fun activity for you all to get to know one another. Because a big part of what we're doing here is one, learning about a wonderful female business person and entrepreneur, but also getting to know one another. So Liz, take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad you could all be here today. Bella, it was phenomenal hearing your story and hearing your path. I was telling Yvonne, I don't have any like business knowledge whatsoever, and I'm like furiously taking notes over here going, how do I become a part of this? And so thank you for that. That's really inspiring. So the Women's Center, we wanted to partner with Yvonne and the College of Business and really work to offer support and encouragement for students, for women students in the College of Business, because we should be supporting each other. And so kind of through living in this virtual environment where we're like window neighbors, but we're not like physically together. I definitely was hoping with some of our time today that we could show all the many ways that we're linked together through this little activity, which would give you an opportunity to kind of meet one another. And so at the end of the activity too, for those who are interested, you can put your contact information in the chat if you wanted to put email to start to be able to connect and exchange ideas with the other individuals in this group. So the activity is that it's a game called Link. And so what you do is you say a fact about yourself. And then if the fact applies to you, then you say Link. And the first person who says it then would go and say a fact about themselves. So just to help us get to know each other a little bit. So it could be your major, it could be your birth order, it could be your home state, it could anything. So nothing's off limits. And so that is the game. And we'll play it with the goal of everybody having a link to someone in this group. And then we can exchange contact information in the hope that through this event and then the subsequent events that Yvonne will highlight here shortly, that we're able to see each other again and build some relationships kind of outside the classroom and beyond maybe our academic focus. So, so with that, let's see. I will start by saying I am the oldest in my family. Well, I think, let's see, did anyone not have a link that, and they wanted to share a fact about themselves? I want to open the floor. All right.
What about cooking?
Miriam, what, can you say that again?
I said, what about cooking?
Oh.
I didn't have somebody, talking about the recipes and, cooking. So I like cooking. I don't know.
It's nice.
Absolutely.
Bella right there.
Right? All right. Well, the goal of that exercise is there's always something that we share in common. And really, this is a group of people who are here for a reason, right? And you all have your own reasons for joining us today. And so I'm hopeful and excited that over the course of the next events, we're able to give you something so that you can feel like this time is helping you build a future for yourself, whether it's creating a business, participating in business. And so we'll turn it over to Yvonne to introduce the rest of the series.
That's great. What a wonderful intro too. That's exactly what this is about. It's like we want you and we want you to find value in what we're doing. So we'd love your feedback about the event today. I've hit my email in chat. sure Liz has put her this there too. The rest of the series is all going to be at the same time, 4 o'clock to 5:30. So all you have to remember is the dates, and we've put them all into Facebook events also. So you'll find Facebook events on the CIE Facebook page, and you also have a link here at the bottom that you can go to. And there's a page there, which is one page, and you can register for all the rest of the events if you'd like. October 7th, we're going to do a Connections event, and November 4th. Both of those are going to be a bit more of this. Fun, icebreaker sorts of activities, intermingled with some women entrepreneurs. For example, on November 4th, Paula Trenda from Curly Girls Candy is going to be with us. And she's going to talk a little bit, like introduce herself, and then she'll be mixing in with the game. And she is great fun, very interesting candy company. Taking care with business is kind of playing off of that idea that I was asking Bella about earlier. Like, how can you use business to do good? How can you use it to provide care for others? And then on November 19th is Women Entrepreneurs Day, celebrated around the world and internationally. It's a day to celebrate female entrepreneurs. We're going to have a wonderful speaker for that. And that is also in the middle of what's called Global Entrepreneurship Week. There's a whole bunch of events that whole week to help people who are thinking about starting businesses. It's a lot of fun. Or people who already have businesses. So I hope you'll join us for all of those. You're all amazing, and it was really fun to get a chance to get to know you a little bit better. Thank you for coming. Many thanks to Liz and the Women's Center for partnering with us on this. I'm eternally grateful for that. This is so much fun, and looking forward to more. The logo in the middle there is for women entrepreneurs from that Montclair people that started this whole Women Entrepreneur Celebration that we're part of too.
I'm just gonna.
Yeah, go ahead, Constantina.
Yeah, I'm proud to say that I went to Montclair State University, so it's in my heart. It's like 5 minutes away from my house here. So it's yes. So I've been going to their yearly, Women's Entrepreneurship Week session. So it's wonderful, and you guys did a great job. Very nice. Thank you for doing what you did. Very nice.
Another nice link.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. That's very cool.
Link. I'm from Montclair too.
Yay.
Wow. Just by chance, that is so neat. Well, very cool. Great to meet all of you. You'll see our webpage addresses there. Thank you so much for coming, and we hope to see you October 7th, and we'd love to hear from you between now and then too.
Thank you. Did a great job.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Have a good
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.